Hello, this week we're going to be making some collapsing platforms that you'll be able to use with complex animation and that will reset after a set amount of time. To start off, I've already made a platform, just a copy of the Portal's platforms. Now we can open up the skeletal mesh and add a socket to the mesh, and we're going to name this trigger. I'm going to move this trigger into place over the center of the platform. It'll be used to parent a collision box to it later, so setting it up now will mean we don't have to move it around later. Next, we can create a new blueprint of the type pawn and name this BP_platform. And then we can add the skeletal mesh and set that to our platform. Now we can add the collision box, making sure that it's parented to the skeletal mesh. And then we can set the parent socket to the target we made. Make sure that you adjust the size of the box to match the platform. You can make it a little smaller if you want the player to be able to hang over the edge. After that, we can make an event on component begin overlap. Off the overlap, we can cast to our player character, and then we're going to need a boolean called drop ? And if the cast is successful, we can set the drop bool to true, and then we can add a delay and set it back to false. Now we can promote the delay's duration to a variable and call this reset time, and make it instance editable and exposed on spawn. For me, I'll set the default amount to 3 seconds. You'll be able to use this later on to change how long you want the platform to be down for. Moving into the animations, you can see that I only have one animation, but that's all we're going to need for this. To start off, we're going to duplicate the animation twice and add up and down to the ends of them. Now open the up animation and we're going to pause it and move to around frame 6. Then right click and remove everything from this frame. This is going to be our up pose, and we're going to do the same for the down pose except for the last 6 frames. Now, make an animation blueprint for the platform skeleton and give that a name. Now, in the event graph, we can set our cast to platform. This try get pawn owner is the reason why we had to make our platform a pawn, not an actor, because you would not be able to call it from here. And then we can get our drop bool and promote that to a variable, and we're done in the event graph. Next, we need to jump over to the animation graph. Start off, we're going to need a state machine. We can call this platform pause. Inside that, we're going to add the platform up. And then from that, we can go into the moving animation, then to the down position, and then repeat the movement position, and then link that back up to the up animation. You should have a loop that looks like this in the end. Now the rules to transfer from the up to the movement animation will be just the bool plugged in. For the next rule, we can just check this automatic rule. Same goes from moving from the movement animation to the up position. The last rule will just be our drop ball plugged into a not boolean. Now open the second movement animation and click the sequence player. We need to set the play rate to -1 and the start position to 1. This will cause the animation to start at the end and then play it backwards. Now in the BP_platform, we can set the class to the animation blueprint we just made and test it out. We can see that the animation works, but the collision is set to none. Let's go back into our blueprint and set it to block everything. And then that will be done. But thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.